Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've made any videos of late, but the Christmas period is now over. My first semester of university is now over, thankfully, and I've got some time where I can spend looking at this stuff here. So this video here is going to be a little bit more in-depth look at navigation for a VFR pilot. I'll get to SIDs and stars, I'll fly a SID and a star manually later on in the Aerosoft Twin Otter Extended. But for now we're just going to do a flight around Shoreham, and we're going to be using this VOR rich environment that you see here. Southern England is pretty much chock-a-block full with a lot of VOR or navigation aids, I should say. Especially the further north you go towards Gatwick and Heathrow and London City, it's just teeming with airspaces and all that kind of thing. So let's just have a look at Shoreham. We're going to do a flight from Shoreham. Let's just zoom in here. Okay, so here is the sunny, or not quite so sunny right now, airport of Shoreham. There is the airport. Let's just go start flight plan at Shoreham to begin with. And Shoreham doesn't have a VOR, but a Shoreham has two other things that that when added together almost become as good as a VOR. The only thing that it can't do is radials, but I'll get to that later. It has an NDB called Sierra Hotel Mike. That's the Shoreham NDB. Oh, sorry, yeah, the Shoreham NDB. And that is 332, and I'll show you where that goes later. And it also has a DME, which is SRH, and that is 109.95. I'm getting the information up in the box here. When I pan over that, you can see the information. So whenever I put the NDB 332 into my ADF thingy down on my radio stack, I will automatically get a magnetic heading from my airplane to that NDB right there. And then I can also track this DME, and what that will do is that will give me a range to the DME. So what that's doing when having both of those together is it will allow me to have a range to the airfield as well as a direct heading to the airfield. And I say that's almost as good as a VOR because that's what VORs do. They give you a range to the VOR and they also give you a heading to the VOR. But what a VOR does that those two things don't do is a VOR will give you a radial, which is a straight line that's being emitted directly out from the VOR. However long or powerful the VOR is, you can get a radial that's much longer. But if we go to the Goodwood VOR here, we go right click on that and we go show radial. We get this box here, and let's just say we want the radial of 090. Let's put that in there, and let's put a distance of 10 miles just to have a look. And click OK, and boom. Okay, what that's given me is, that doesn't look like 090, but okay, let's just not worry about that right now. That has given me a line from the VOR, and what I'm able to do is I'm able to track that line. So if I'm in a Cessna and I'm taking off here, and I want to come in towards the Goodwood airfield at an exact, very precise line of 090, I can do so because the VOR will allow me to track that. And I'll show you later when I get in the Cessna exactly how I do that using the VOR1 and VOR2 nav instruments. But this is a really cool feature here that VORs give, which I really got excited about when I first learnt what was going on and how it worked. But then FS Flight Lessons had to go and squash my utter joy by telling me that this was a very normal thing that all sorts of pilots use VOR radials, all day long, every day, and it's nothing to be excited about. So my excitement was short-lived. But what this means that is I can track an exact point in space regardless of VFR procedures. So if I go into a fog bank, which I could very easily do using Active Sky Next, which I've just recently got, is very good weather engine. If I go into a fog bank, I could start tracking VOR radials. Now, of course, that would mean that I would then be going over into IFR mode. I wouldn't be in VFR anymore, so I'd have to, talk to the controller and change my flight plan, which would be okay. But in real life, if you fly VFR, you don't want to fly IFR. You'll descend out of the clouds. You'll go around the clouds, or you'll fly above the clouds or whatever, so that you don't have to become IFR. But you can also fly IFR in a Cessna, as a previous video that I did or did not show you how to fly IFR. That was pretty awful, that one. But it can be done. So I'm going to most likely be flying VFR in a moment, but there will be clouds and there will be VOR radials, and I'll just show you what goes on. So let's just have a look here. Let's say I take off from Shoreham and I exit via the actually let's go east. Let's exit via the Brighton Pier VRP, and I know what VRPs now are. They are visual reference points. In my last Plan-G video, certain people found it extremely aggravating and extremely funny at the same time that I completely forgot on camera what a VRP was. I won't tell you their names, but I will tell you that it begins with FSX and it ends in Genius. So yeah, let's just put add user waypoint Brighton Marina to plan. So I'll take off from Shoreham and I'll fly in that direction, and then we will go and we'll track this VOR, which is the SFD Sierra Foxtrot Delta. Let's just add that to the plan, and coming along we can come up here to Deanland Lewes Airport. Maybe let's go there. Yeah, why not? Right click on that, add airport to plan. Right, so that's a very simple, quick flight plan, and I'm going to be using the radials of Sierra Foxtrot Delta to be able to track. So let me see. Inbound to Sierra Foxtrot Delta, I will be on 110. So let's actually just right click, show radial, see if this works. 110, distance, let's just put 5 nautical miles. Oh, not 50, 5 nautical miles. Just nope, that was in the opposite direction. Okay. What is the opposite of so 180 is 7. Yeah, it's 070. No! Okay, I completely messed that up. Show radial. I need... Oh, I know what I didn't do. Yeah, sorry. I need to add 180 degrees to 110 degrees, which is 290. 290. Okay. So, you aren't able to see, but there actually is a radial now going from FSD all the way up in 5 nautical miles in that direction. Actually, let's just increase that so you can see. Let's just say 15 nautical miles. Okay, yeah, you can see the radial there. So we're going to take off from Shoreham. We're going to track. Yeah, we're basically going to come around and we're going to track that VOR radial of 290. And we're going to get to the VOR, and then we're going to track an outbound radial up to EGKL, and that outbound radial is going to be 012. So if I right click on the VOR now, show radial, put in 012, and 10 nautical miles should be fine. Click OK. Boom, there we go. That purple line is the radial there. So this is going to be simple. Tracking an inbound radial and then tracking an outbound radial, and then later on we might get a little bit more adventurous. I'll also show you the tracking the NDB and the DME as we are going outbound from Shoreham as well. So to keep this video as quick as possible, I want to try and start making a little bit more snappy and professional tutorials here. If they should be called tutorials at all, let us jump in the plane. Okay folks, welcome back, and here we're in the cockpit. I'm just going to show you now the setup that we're going to use. This is Shoreham. As you can see, it's pretty dark outside. So, our setup is going to be, we are going to leave Shoreham. This is our ADF dial. We're going to dial in 332. So let me just select my radio stack. And let's just set my Squawkers 7000 to begin with. This is my ADF panel, if you like, and this is the button where you can swap frequencies from active to standby. We're just going to select a standby frequency of 332, and to dial in the single digits, you just push the knob in and out to dial either the tens or the singles. That's 332, and then if we hit the frequency button to change it over into active, this should change, like so. So that's now pointing towards the NDB in the middle of the airfield. Now to track the DME, we need to put the DME in. Let's try and put it in nav2 to see if that'll work. That's 109.95. See, will that work? Nope, it has to be nav1. Okay. Yep, there we go. 0.2 nautical miles from the DME. So that has given us our range to the DME and our heading to the airfield, which is, you know, it's basically heading to the airfield and range to the airfield. So that's almost as good as a VOR, except that we don't get radials with that. You get radials with a proper VOR, which I will show you presently. Once we take off, we will be tracking the inbound radial of well, it's actually the outbound radial of 290, but we will be heading towards it, which will be in 180 degrees from 290, which is the opposite heading of 110. So it's going to be a heading of 110, and we're going to be tracking the 290 radial inbound. If that makes sense, I'll show it to you later. And then we will be switching to the outbound radial of the same VOR of a radial of 012, and we'll track that radial for 7.3 nautical miles to our destination airfield. So just hang with me, folks, and I'll take off. So, folks, we've just taken off. I'm just going to do a right-hand turnout from Shoreham. And as you can see, my needle down there is pointing directly behind us, so the airport is directly behind us at a range of 0.9 nautical miles. As I'm doing a right-hand turnout, this, strictly speaking, obviously would be IFR conditions, but I'm just doing it for you at night time because I want to trust my instruments as much as possible, instead of always looking out the window and cheating. And I'm not looking at Plan-G either. I'm just doing this all by these instruments in the cockpit. So now we're climbing out. We'll probably climb up to about 1,500 or so, and we're now going to track the Seaford VOR. So I could put on the autopilot, but I kind of don't want to. Let's just lean out a little and pull the throttle back. Let's just trim. There we go. Okay. So, I want to be tracking the inbound radial of 110. Yeah. So there is 110 there. Sorry, my throat's a bit dry today. And we want to be tracking the 109.9 no, we want to be tracking the 117 VOR, which is Seaford. So let's just change that to 117, 116, 117, and 0. Change that over. Oh no, I got that wrong. There we go. One more. There we go. This is why I use the little Shift 6 function, folks. Some people ask me, because yeah, because it really is difficult sometimes to do it from the virtual cockpit to change these dials. Okay, and let's set our radial of 1110 degrees. Okay, so that's a 1110 degree radial, and we are to the left of the radial, as you can see, because the little dial there is on the right hand side, and you can see the nav arrow is pointing up, which means we are going towards the radial, or towards the VOR. You can see down here we are 12.2 nautical miles away from the VOR. So to track this radial, we simply turn right a bit until the dial comes center, and then we want to turn to a heading of 110, and that will hold that that radial. And I'll show you Plan-G. Well, I'll show you what's happening with Plan-G afterwards, so you can see our flight path and everything. Some lovely active sky next clouds going on. A very atmospheric evening. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. It's basically, if you watch my streams, I do Twitch streams, I'm pretty much always just saying, oh, that's beautiful, oh, this is beautiful, because it basically is. Alright, I need to be to the right a bit more. Let's sort this radial out. So if you look at my directional indicator bug, you can see where 110 is, and you can see, so I'm about 40 degrees. I'm going to attack the radial at an angle of about 40 degrees here. You can see the needle should start swinging. Are you going to start moving, Mr. Radial? You should soon. Okay, we're almost there. Almost there. A little bit more, and then we'll turn to 110, sorry. Okay, that's about it. Let's just turn 110 now. And, oh yeah, you can see the dial is a little bit to the left, which means we've crossed over, and now we're a little bit to the right of the radial. 8 nautical miles out from the VOR now. Oh, gotta watch my descent. I'm not flying by looking out the window at all. I'm flying by these instruments. Or trying to. Okay, you can see my nav 1 indicator, my hair out to the left, right? That's a little bit better. Yeah, yeah. So I'm basically zigzagging up and down the radial now because I'm not tracking it perfectly, because I'm flying this manually. If I'd put the autopilot on and I hit the nav button down there, that would automatically track the radial for me. So, and the lovely thing about radials is that even if there's a crosswind, your autopilot system will automatically adjust and keep you on that line. So it's basically like an airway. If you folks are coming from IFR flying, it's almost like an airway where it's a fixed line to fly on. It's not something that's just a random heading that you can be blown off, you know. Which is why I love them so much. Okay, 5.4, 5.3 nautical miles out from Seaford VOR now. And then as soon as we cross the VOR, we will turn left up onto the 012 radial. We're still a little bit to the left of the VOR, or of the radial, sorry. Let's just pull me around a little bit more. It can be quite disorientating to fly this way at nighttime. It's always very challenging, and I love the challenge of, well, I love challenge, but at the same time I make mistakes when I'm challenged, so it's not nice at the same time. But it's okay. Okay, yeah, just a little bit to the right again. So you can see that dial there wobbling left and right, which means that I'm crossing the radial over and over and over again. I'm zigzagging along it, and you'll see the zigzag on Plan-G afterwards. We're 2.9 nautical miles away, so not long now before we change to the 012 radial, and then we're tracking outbound on the 012. And I think there is a wind component pulling and pushing me around. Can't remember exactly where it's coming from, but I think I'm actually flying into the wind. Oh, there's a downdraft there. Active Skynext is a really good weather engine for modeling good airflow in the weather. I've been told good updrafts, downdrafts, little what are they called? Downbursts on final approaches, like mini pockets of massive downdrafts. I can't remember the name of them. It'll come to me. It's like a VRP. It'll come to me. Microbursts, that's what it was. Okay, tracking now. Okay, 0.6 nautical miles out from the VOR. So soon, that needle is going to get more and more sensitive the closer we get to the VOR. 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. We're pretty much over the VOR now. So I'm just going to change my heading to 53012. Okay, now I need to also change this to 012. Oh, got a bit of turbulence there. There we go. Whoa! Okay, banking turn there, losing a lot of altitude, but that's okay. So I'm turning to, I could turn to 012 and hold 012 now, but I wouldn't be following the radial because I'm now to the right of the radial because I did that big arcing turn. So I'm going to turn again, and I'm going to intercept that radial yet again. So I'm going to intercept that radial at quite a harsh angle. I'm going to probably do about 45-degree intercept there. If you can see, my heading bug is at 012 and I'm heading to the left of it at about 45 degrees, and you'll see this dial will swing from the left to the right, and you can see now the little arrow has changed from pointing upwards to pointing downwards, which means the VOR is behind us instead of in front of us, which means we're now tracking an outbound radial, not an inbound radial. And again, you'll see that in Plan-G afterwards. And you can still see my ADF needle is tracking Shoreham. So we're actually, Shoreham is off to our 11 o'clock. Should hit this radial fairly soon. I think the wind's doing crazy things. We're 2.5 nautical miles out from the VOR now. So whenever we get 7.3 nautical miles out on the 012 radial, we'll know that okay, radial's coming alive. Nav 1's coming alive, swinging across. And as it does that swing, let's just help to encourage that a little. As that swing comes along, I will start to turn. There we go, starting my turn to stay on. Oh my goodness, the up and down drafts of this wind here, and it's a little bit disconcerting because I can't see out the window at all. I think those are the lights of the airfield. Yeah, that's the airfield ahead, I think. Maybe, maybe not. Now, 7.3 nautical... Oh my goodness. This is why you do not fly IFR at nighttime, because you take your eyes off the instruments and all of a sudden you're upside down. I just looked down to my... Okay, 4.7 nautical miles away from the VOR now. So 4.9 now. 7.3 nautical miles comes very quickly. Let me just track this radial again. And if I use the autopilot would do a much better job of holding these radials than I am manually. I'm just flying manually because it's just more fun. And you'll see me zigzagging around on Plan-G later. 5.6 nautical miles. Yeah, I think that's the airport below. So let's start descending now. Still trying to hold mixture rich. Still trying to hold that radial of 102. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the airport below, because we are now 6.3 nautical miles, so only one more mile to go, and that's the airfield below us. And my goodness, I'm descending way too rapidly. Let's put my landing light on. Taxi landing. Okay, folks, so basically, yeah, bang. I'm bang on the radial now. Let's just turn. Where'd those runway lights go? Where'd those lights go? Yeah, it's yep, I just overflew the airfield. Okay, I will join you on final... Yep, 7.3 nautical miles. Boom, there we go. 7.4 now. I will join you on final approach to the runway. So, chat to you later. Okay, folks, pretty much on final approach now. It is extremely dark out there, and this is no runway lights at all. This is pretty much looks like a dirt strip, almost. But I can see the runway very dimly. And I'm doing something that you would not do in real life. But hey, it's FSX, you can do what you like. A little bit more power, there we go. Let's see if we can get the... Let's see if we can get the stall horn to honk at us a little. Okay, 200 feet. Yeah. My goodness, this is going to be interesting. Okay, stall horn, come on. Let's hear what you have to say. Oh, okay, maybe not. So, let's just take my headphones out. As you can see there, I just took my my glare shield lights off because I wanted to get as much nighttime vision as I could. The floodlights on the Cessna aren't very good. I think it's because of a recent patch, or there's a patch that's coming out that should fix, or that gives you the option of having dimmer or yeah. It was an issue with the click spots in the cockpit, I believe. So just taxiing on the grass here. over to... Oh, someone there in that car's left their lights on. Have a flat battery by the end of the day. Oh, and there's that A2A Piper Cub there. It's probably the A2A Piper Cub owner there who's left his lights on. Alright, let's just put my parking brake on. And let's just do a very quick shutdown. I would do mixture idle cutoff. Well, let's turn my avionics off first. Mixture idle cutoff. And then... Oh, why's my fuel pump on? There we go. And then it's only until after the prop stops turning that you turn the ignition off. And then the battery mastery thingy. And the battery off. There we go. So, ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching. That was a very quick, short example of DME tracking, ADF tracking, and VOR radials tracking them inbound and outbound. So let's just go to Plan-G now and have a look at my magenta line and see what it looks like. So I shall meet you back in Plan-G. Okay, folks, you can see Plan-G here. I just took a screenshot as opposed to trying to minimize FSX. So let's just grab my hander tool. So you can see I took off from Shoreham here, took a right hand turn out, and I was tracking the NDB and the DME of Shoreham as I came along, and then of course I tracked on to the Seaford VOR and was going to track the radial. As you can see, I was tracking the inbound. I was tracking 092. Oh, sorry, 209. Okay, let me try this again. I just can't speak. 290. Yes, I was tracking the 290 radial there. And as you can see, I was tracking it inbound on a heading of 110. You can see me zigzagging back and forth, but you can see basically that I have. You can see it's correct. It's accurate. I have tracked it, and that's lovely. And as I crossed over the Seaford VOR, you can see that I took a left-hand turn up to 012. Yeah, I just can't think right now. 012. And to actually get onto the 012 radial, I couldn't just track 012 heading. I had to actually come along, and I attacked it at roughly 30-45 degrees, and then I hit the... Let's get my hand tool again, and then I hit the radial, and then started zigzagging a little bit more. The wind component was pretty much 9 knots. So I was into the wind 9 knots on the inbound, and on the outbound I was being a crosswind. So yeah. So that, but basically you get the idea. And if you put on the autopilot and you use nav, the autopilot will track these radials very, very nicely, like bang on almost every time, depending on how strong the wind crosswind components are. But yeah, basically I got to 7.3 nautical miles, started to descend in a turn. Not a very good looking turn. There was no pattern or anything, but you know, that's not what I'm showing you in this video. I was showing you the use of radials. So folks, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for part 2, where I actually do a radial. Well, no, I do a star in Edinburgh. It's an Edinburgh star. I'll be coming in using the Twin Otter Extended by Aerosoft, and I will actually be manually flying the star using the VOR radials, which is what the star is made up of. That's what it's basically, which is really cool. So I will be doing that in part 2. Stay tuned and catch you later. Bye.